All right, everybody. This is it. Uncivilized Intellects, the podcast. We're back. And this is a big show. This is a huge Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Dick show. Just a huge ass fucking show. We got professionals here. We always have professionals, but we got like movie, Netflix, Oscar-worthy shit happening right here with my boy Alok, an old friend, my boy Clayton, an old friend, Naomi Grossman, a genius. We're all together here. Brian Adams is here. Of course, Zach is here. I'm going to jump right into this motherfucker like a little kid in a pool. Okay, guys, 1BR. Alok, what's your role in the movie? Clayton, what's your role in the movie? Naomi, Alok, go first. What's your role in this, dude?
I'm a producer.
You're the producer. Mm-hmm. Clayton, what do you do, buddy? What's your role in this movie, Clayton?
I am playing Lester.
Lester. Naomi, who are you? Who are you, Naomi, in this movie?
I played Janice, although I have to say, Alok and Clayton are being very humble. Alok not only produced this motherfucker, but he also plays like all the extras. Like
yeah, so
like spot Alok, and every time you do, and I swear you'll be wasted in the first. Clayton also kills it in this film. Let me tell you,
yeah, he did.
He's this just underdog waiting in the wings. Like he is awesome. Like my personal favorite part of the film.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fantastically. Yeah. I mean, I have to just say fantastically done to everybody. I got to tip my hats off to you guys. I watched it, a long time ago, Loke, we did all the release parties and all of that. And then I just watched it actually again this morning, just kind of, I wanted to have it fresh and just coming right off, watching it. It's well done all the way around. And both of you, just amazing jobs. Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic
I enjoyed
movie.
it also.
Thank you.
Great movie.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually bought a pair of the new Google glasses that play film, and I've been watching 1BR as I just walk around constantly on those glasses. So, look, thank you for driving me fucking crazy. Audience and people that are listening, we have all seen 1BR, but we are just such fans and so proud of this three people that we had to have them on. I just have a couple of questions, even though I know the answers. This is for you, audience. This is me giving my heart to you. Who wrote that movie, Alok? Who wrote that?
It was written and directed by David Marmer, who's a genius.
Yes.
First time writer director. We're working with him again. I don't know this on his next movie, which we can't talk about because we're gonna J.J. Abrams the shit out of that stuff.
Nice.
Want to know what's in the box? We're not gonna tell you what's in the box.
Right.
Come find out.
That's funny.
What's gonna happen? So yeah.
Like that. And David and you met how? How did that relationship start?
David's manager, Allard Cantor, and also Jared Murray have a company called Epicenter, and Allard went to high school with my wife.
Yeesh, wow.
We had one of those, douchebag lunches that you have in Los Angeles where you sit and talk about what you're up to. And he was like, well, what kind of movies are you looking for? I'm like, oh, elevated horror. So let me send you two movies, two scripts, and like an asshole, I didn't read them for like 6 months because I was working on something else, and I was like, that was more of my energy where it was going, and then that thing fell through, and I was like, holy shit, I need to read some scripts, and so I did, and one of the scripts was Tragedy Girls, which is a terrific film, but it's a horror comedy, and as I, in another lifetime ago, I used to test movies for a living. I always thought that horror comedies are tough because you can't make everyone happy, really, because the horror people want to see more horror, the comedy people think it's too horrible, So I said, I have no interest in that one. No, that's okay. We just finished filming it a week ago, and I was like, what the fuck do I know then? So they gave us 1BR, and I love 1BR, and I met with David over at the Culver Hotel. I actually had a coffee with him, and we talked about movies and our sensibilities, and I basically found him to be charming and sweet and so smart. The guy went to Harvard, went to USC for graduate school for directing.
Wow.
Very accomplished in that regard. And so we got along, and he's a first-time writer-director, and we're first-time producers. What could go wrong, right?
Yeah. Yeah. In your case, what could go right? I mean, the movie is just a hit. I mean, who edited that film? I think sometimes that is like the forgotten, really savior of everything, the editing. Who edited that?
Well, we started off with one editor, and she was fine, but it was tough because David just had a baby at that point, and so he was trying to also help with all this stuff, and so like not being able to sleep, like you lose your fucking mind, and so we only had her for a certain amount of time, and her sort of time expired, and we needed somebody else, and we actually then brought on Rich Fox, who's an amazing editor, does a lot of TV. I know that, and he's like consistently working, and he took his time out to work on this. And Dave Barmer also did a bit of editing as well, but he actually I think really was the main force in shaping it, and like even coming up with different sequences and cutting sequences that we spent a ton of money on. One sequence that at one point in the movie, Sarah tries to kill herself, tries to cut her own throat. And he actually took that out, and that's one of the most expensive sequences that we shot. And as producers, we were like, fuck, what do you mean? But in terms of story, we're like, I can understand why I did. Because it really made the movie drag and, whatever. And so the only thing that sucked about that is we had to do some digital effects on Sarah's neck to take out that scar that we put there and stuff. So that, what are you gonna do? But
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but Rich Fox was the editor. He brought it together. Really, I tell you that.
Nice, Naomi and Clayton. What's it like when, especially with a movie like that, when you're going out for the casting, or was it just given to you? How did it go about? What happened? I see Clayton's very still. Naomi's got yeah. Girl.
I mean, I thought it was given to me because I've actually been, cultivating this friendship, networking for the last 20 years with Alok.
Wow.
We have a mutual friend. His best friend from high school was one of my best friends from college. So when I moved out to LA, basically pulled a Sarah, didn't have any friends. And basically her friends became my friends, and that was Alok. So I thought I was a shoo-in, and then he called me for an audition. I was like, what? I thought I was the reason it was, help me make it happen. Anyway, no, it was just a technicality, but the audition process was actually quite hilarious. Mostly because, like I said, in addition to being the producer and all the extras, he also was my reader in the audition, which people who aren't, in entertainment, it's basically usually technically an actor who can read opposite you. Now, Alok has really bad internet, so on occasion his internet will go out and it'll sound like he's reading, but he also might be drinking. In fact, I don't know what that is now.
Yeah.
It's too early to drink.
in all these 20 years of friendship, I know Alok. We'll play late night Trivial Pursuit, and he can literally screw with you. You can literally not be able to answer because of the way he's told the question. He'll tell it fast, and then and you're like, what's happening?
That's a good Alok.
Well, that's what he did in my audition. He was just reading maybe he was illiterate, or maybe he was hyper literate. Absolutely insane. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get this. With my own best friend. Anyway, I think it was technically a technicality. I think David didn't know me yet, and so Alok obviously wanted me in, and it was just a question of where they could shoehorn me in. I'm not a dewy-eyed 20-year-old, so that wasn't gonna work. But I'm glad they found a place for me.
No, and the place they found for you, you killed. You killed that place. Clayton, what about you? But I think we personally talked about it, but why don't you tell me about the casting and how did that go?
So I had just recently got married on a Wednesday. Did a nice courthouse wedding with my beautiful wife, and Alok had seen my posting on Facebook. And so he sent me a message on a Friday, but I was in this all day all weekend long acting workshop with my coach, Jamie Worab. And I was also working my day job waiting tables. So I was literally like busy from like 8 a.m. until like midnight at night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's like, well, can you just, send me over the a read for you? Can you send that over for me? So I get home at like midnight. I asked my wife, I was like, will you read with me, please, for this? And we were up till like 3:30 in the morning shooting this audition tape for Sad Lester, just sitting there like, just and sent it over, and and then I think that that was on Saturday, and then Monday we left to New Orleans for my wife's sister's birthday, and we were on Frenchman Street in New Orleans, listening to this I don't know, like 20-piece band on the street just playing. And I got the call from Alok and them saying they wanted to offer me the part. It was like 2 a.m, I think, New Orleans time. And I was just like on Frenchman Street, like dancing with my friends. Like, yeah, I got the part. I got the part.
It's funny. It's funny. Like that was one of the few parts that that David and the producers sort of fought over, because he wanted this other dude who was like kind of much like older looking, and we're like, in what world would it make sense that Sarah would even want to kind of? I'm doing a spoiler, I think here.
We're gonna put spoiler alerts on this.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put it on the title. Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
So there's why would you want to be with some dude that's clearly older than her? That was my argument. And then it just so happened I saw like Clayton's wedding picture on Facebook, and like he's never on Facebook, by the way. Like he's very rarely. Like now he's more, but like he used to never be on there, and I hadn't thought of him. I never thought of him for the part, and I saw him like, that's fucking Lester. That's fucking Lester. And I was like, I was so insistent. I was like, well, you need to read for this. You need to read for this. And he did. And like basically on Sunday morning when we got he taped it that night and sent it over, and Sunday morning, I was like, I went to David and I was like, this is the fucking guy. This is the fucking guy. Like he is Lester. And he was like, begrudgingly, all right, hey, it's gonna be great, So that's sort of what it was. I mean, and that's a lesson to everyone. You should be on fucking social media. Like you never know. Like I mean, I have all these friends. Like I try to cast friends first and foremost if I can, if I think there's something right, because I'd rather help my friends out. But like we've been looking for like a week, and it was coming down to the wire. And thank God, like you posted that picture, because that made all the difference, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's the fact. There's so much stuff that comes out of being on social media. I mean, I'm definitely one to know about that. As much stuff as I've done. I think having Lester, Clayton, I've known you for so long, the work you've put in as an actor. No one is in class more than Clayton. No one is training more than Clayton, and no one deserved that part more than you. So I'm really proud of you and what you've done. I've known you a long time, and very good job, old friend. Obviously, Naomi, a genius, American Horror Story, a legend at this point. Naomi, I want to, just a little bit about that, so people that are watching, you definitely have fans that are going to be watching this. How was, I got a question for you. Do you go to the conventions?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Walking Dead person. So I go to, Brian and Zach are like, what, nigga? Yes, I'm a Walking Dead. Look, already knows that. I'm a Walking Dead person. So I go to the Walking Dead thing in San Francisco. I want to go to the one in Atlanta and run around and the zombies chase after me, and, and all that kind of shit. So I go and do the photos of that. What is that like, the convention life, as far as that with you?
It's amazing. I mean, it's crazy. I've made way more on the back end on that show than I did working on the show.
Really?
You can see this room. It's all art that was given to me at one point at a convention, actually.
Yeah. Wow. And you have like a booth and you sign the stuff, and it's just kind of like that?
Yeah.
That is killer.
I remember that dude with the ear behind you, that one at the pink right there. That's the guy from the circus episode, wasn't it?
That's
the
her.
circus series?
That's her, Brian.
No, but wasn't there a circus series?
There was another one.
Yeah.
There was another guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Freak Show was the season of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's amazing. At first when I started doing it, I thought it was kind of gross, like actors, sort of soliciting themselves. And then all of a sudden it turned around and I realized, no, like this is for the fans as much as it is for me, like it's almost like they want to meet me. And like, this is
absolutely.
almost like this public service. You know, it's funny how I, at one time, you know, before I had any success as an actor, I always thought of acting as almost sort of a narcissistic pursuit. Like it was, I just wanted me. And now I realize, no, it's them. It's the fans. Like, I'm actually giving a gift at the end of the day, especially now, you know, we're so desperate for entertainment. Like if it weren't for our entertainers, you know, where would we be? Oh, well, home. We'd be home.
We're all, exactly. I think that's one thing the pandemic has shown is how much power is in that entertainment, because everybody's watched, and I literally have watched one VR on Netflix when it came out, and it was #1 people on Netflix. So
it hit the #1 trending spot.
#1. I'm sure Loke that day bought as much Belgian beer as possible, put it in a bathtub, and like drank it out of the bathtub, because that's what he likes to do.
I seriously like cried, because I was just like, this is like everything we worked for. Like every fucking podcast, Naomi Grossman goes on with us. That you know, Clayton helps. You know, it was like a group effort. I swear, I just put like the Rocky soundtrack on loop in the background, and I just cried.
So look, that is actually my next question, and Naomi kind of set up some stuff very perfectly. Where were each of you when you heard that you were #1 on Netflix? Let me tell you where I was. I was kicked off of Facebook as usual for you know, working on the weekends like usual. So kicked off of Facebook, and I'm still able to look at it, and I saw Alok post this post, and I said, #1 on Netflix. Oh my God. My uncle is #1 on Netflix. And I just got up, and I think I walked outside and just stared at cars for like 4 minutes. I was just so in shock. Because #1 on Netflix, that's big styling right there. Alok, where were you? Who called you? How did you figure out you were #1 on Netflix?
I literally get up every morning and go to the bathroom and take my phone with me. And that's where I was, like, that morning. And I got, like, my wife, like, you know, it was like, because here's the thing. Here's how stupid I am. Like, I just get obsessed with things. And, like, I know at 4:30 in the morning is when they put that number out there. That's when they refresh the number for the whole nation, right? 4:30 in the morning. Yeah. And for some reason, I got up at, like, 4:26. And I went and like took a piss, and then it changed right when I was on the, like, looking at it, and I was like, yeah. Like, my wife was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, we're #1. We're #1.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go back to bed? Like,
no, I was just like, I need to.
Right.
I do all our social media as well. That's the other hat I wear. So I knew that I needed to like crow about this.
Yeah. Let motherfuckers know.
Like, we had been like working so hard. I mean, like in this way, like you have a strategy, right? We had a festival strategy, right? When I went like all over the world to like, you know, press the flesh and make sure that like people knew about this and it was out there in people's minds. And then we had a strategy for, you know, when we our publicist put us out there at the very beginning, we then picked up that baton and we ran with it, and we went to other journalists to keep it going, to keep reviews going, and then started doing podcasts. I mean, such a great cast that are so, you know, giving of their time to come and help us do this and stuff, and it's paid off for them too. I would think, because I mean, you know, Naomi's been #1 on IMDb before, so it's like old hat for her. But like, you know, other people got much raised up and stuff like that, and their profiles are better now. And and like, you know, like Naomi's like 1,000 right now, and I think that like Clayton is like 7,000 or something right now, right? Like everyone's like so awesome. You know, their stars have gone up like 20,000 points in a weekend or something. You know, it all kind of paid off at the end of the day to do all this sort of strategy where we definitely kept it in people's minds, kept them aware even after the VOD, and the crescendo of the whole thing was debuting in the top 5 on Netflix and staying in the top 5 for a week. Which, to be honest, I went back and I looked at all the numbers that are public record, and I would tell you, I think we're the highest debuting horror movie on Netflix this year. Period. We may be one of the most watched things on Netflix this year as well. We're actually right now in the positioning. We're in 6 different sections right now. So if they're doing that for us, they know that people are clicking through and watching it and stuff like that. So and in addition to all of that, thankfully we were lucky enough to get on a lot of people's best of lists thus far for horror movies. Like
Facts.
USA Today, we're in Vulture, we're in like Thrillist, we're in like, so I think that the movie took its own traction once we got to Netflix, because people had heard about it so much. There was a stickiness to it, and it all just propelled it to number one. And we were just so over the moon and happy. Like I said, I was on the toilet. We didn't finish going around on them for everybody else where they were and stuff. Clayton, where were you?
Yeah, Clayton, where were you?
Oh man, I was laying in bed. I'm not a morning person, so I don't know about what time of the morning or afternoon it was. But I had rolled over and looked at my phone, see what time it was, and kind of like sat on the edge of my bed like an old Buick, just like
yes.
trying to get my body into mode, and picked it up, saw Loke's post. Cue the Rocky music. I was like, Rocky music, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
What's going on here? And I saw his number one. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, my wife kind of snuggled over me. She's like, what's going on, babe? And I was like, we just hit number one on Netflix. And she was like over the moon, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And I was like, oh, cool. And she's like, oh my God. So I think it hit her a little more than me. But I was laying in my bed.
You laid in your bed. Naomi, where were you at, babe? Where were you at when you heard that you were number one on Netflix?
Well, I mean, of course, I was at home because we're all at home. But I will say it was, I mean, I saw Alok's post, of course. But, and I knew when I read, like, I am crying, he was actually crying. Like, it cries. I mean,
I've seen him cry over a beer many a time, so yeah.
Spill a beer. You spill a beer, does it go to heaven? Does it go to heaven? I don't know.
Actually, there was a beer you spilled. It was just a beer. You drank it, and you're like, this is beautiful. You started crying. And I was like, wow. Emotional.
I'm an emotional man.
Emotional.
Well, like a week before, we'd been on the phone and kind of strategizing our, podcasting and whatnot. And he'd say, this is all about to end. Like, and I remember saying, like, dude, it's just beginning. Like, what are you talking? And I think in his like money grubber producer brain, he's, our window to sell this movie for $4.99 or $1.99 or whatever on iTunes or whatever is narrowing, and so it's jig is up. But what he didn't realize, and it's true, like it's just the start, and which is ironic because that's kind of how the movie is, right? At the end, like just the thing. Yeah. But I'm so this film. I mean, talk about underdogs waiting in the wings. Like all of what Alok said is true, but what he hasn't mentioned is just how. I mean, listen, I know he mortgaged his house for it, so it's not like it was nothing. But this was like a no-budget movie. Like I will never work for that again. Like if anyone,
what just happened? Naomi, you're coming in hot, baby.
Yes,
you're coming in hot. Naomi Grossman, ladies and gentlemen,
looks like secrets.
Coming in hot. Lovely.
No,
Jesus.
like, I mean, anyone in Hollywood is listening to this, like,
she's still coming in hot.
I can't afford to work for that. Okay, I did it because I love Alok, but like. Wow. I mean, it's amazing that he's, here he's got like Jamie Foxx is number 2. Like,
yes, Jamie, yes.
On Hollywood Boulevard. Like, this is like David and Goliath. It's awesome. It's really awesome.
She is absolutely right. I mean, I remember, like I said, Alok's an old friend. I call him Uncle Alok. He's my tandoori brother, a little spicy and sweet. And Alok, he asked me to read it. It took me a while, like it took him a while, but Alok's very persistent. So Alok will just show up and be like, hey, you read that yet? Like, nah, look, I had to go watch a dog drink some water. He's like, cool. He come back the next day, you ready? Yeah, I'm like, let me just read this damn thing before Alok kills me. I read it in a sitting, and I was like, oh, Alok, this is great. And he said, hey, Moo, you know what? You could play a cop in this. You and Jerry, this Asian guy, is a great actor, great buddy now named Jerry. So I show up, and I don't know what to expect out of Alok, because that is right. Alok literally produced this movie with some buddies out of their own money. this is like some grassroots Lollapalooza first year, like we're just doing this ourselves type shit. So I expected Alok and like some motherfuckers with like some iPhone cameras, and like I didn't know what the fuck he was gonna be shooting on. I didn't know if there was gonna be any craft service. I didn't know was I gonna have a costume. So I actually showed up dressed like what I thought a police officer was gonna look like. Cause I was like, this nigga might not even have costumes for me. I show up, and I was very impressed. I said, oh, my boy, Alok you got some shit happening right here. And from what I could tell by the way David was, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. You can tell immediately as an actor if you do something and the director's like, hey, why don't we think about this? I'm like, oh, okay, you're a sharp guy. You know what's up. I always tell people, a director, it pretty much is someone who's giving you ideas. You as an actor is already coming to a project with kind of like what you have in mind. A great director's like, hey, why don't we try this? Then you as the actor have to adjust. And even in that small cop role, I could see with David, just in the little bit I had in there, I was like, this guy is sharp. This is going to be good. And boom, motherfuckers, #1 on Netflix. That's what I'm talking about. Festivals everywhere out the wazoo. Clayton smiling for the first time. I haven't seen Clayton smile over 3 years. That boy don't smile. Guys killing it. What was who won in all the festival runs? Who did all that? Alok, you went to everyone.
Yeah, David came to a lot of them as well, and Shane did. I mean, I went to all of them except for 2, and it was just because we had other festivals going on at the same time, and I was like Australia or whatever it was. But yeah, we went to like 15. I don't want to say it all together, but we would have gone to even 2 more if it hadn't been for COVID. That was rather whatever it was, but we had a good run, and it did its purpose because basically, we're friends with all these festival directors now, and next time I have a movie, I just got to pick up the phone, and they've already told me like, oh, God, we have to put your fucking movies in now, and I'm like, yeah, but I test movies for a living. It's not gonna be shit.
Yeah. Which was your favorite festival?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I gotta say that like, Fantasia was where we premiered. And so that was, all of them have different things about them, to be honest, actually. And I actually, I don't think anybody knows this, but I'm actually writing an article, helping write an article for Movie Maker magazine about the top 50 genre festivals in the world. And I have like 11 other people that are helping me with it. And so, we're making it a love letter to the film festivals because essentially, all of them are down on their luck right now and having to do virtual shit and stuff like that. And so we want to do an article that focuses on all the positive stuff. So some of them have like better parties. Some of them have like really great like outreach and like a lot of really great filmmakers coming together and staying together even after the festival. So, but all of them have different attributes. I love Fantasia because we premiered there. I also love Beyond Fest in LA because we got to play the Egyptian Theater.
Big time.
Yeah, I love Gerard May in the French Alps. That was an amazing festival. 2,200 people saw us in like 4 days there, and we won the audience award, which was even nuttier because there was no film that was there that was like as small a budget as ours. We're halfway around the world, and the French people are loving us. I feel like fucking Jerry Lewis or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome ones. But Manchester is great. Melbourne Monster Fest was amazing. We went to Night Visions in Helsinki. That was a fucking rad, place to go. Brooklyn was fucking awesome. They just all of them had different attributes and are all really incredible film festivals. I can tell you that.
Would you say that the festivals helped it get to the Netflix, the Apples? How does that then work? Getting on those platforms.
You have a lot of press that's generated with each sort of like showing and stuff, and all that press goes into the Google sphere. So when they Google you, they're like, wow, there's a very high awareness of this film. We think we'd take a chance on it, But I'll be honest, Netflix didn't take us at first.
Really?
Yeah, no. Everyone just passed, and we did so. We didn't get, and we also didn't get to have a theatrical release because of COVID, right? But the good thing COVID did is they made our video on demand numbers very substantial to the point that we went back to Netflix. We're like, this is how good we're doing. Like, you would be dumb not to take us. And they're like, yeah, we'll take you. Here's no money. We'll take you for a year. We said yes. We said yes. So, but glad we did, and it's better. It's the best thing to be on the biggest, baddest streamer in the world, right? Like you can tell people, hey, go watch Netflix. We're on there, and they're like, oh, very nice. It's like having a 310 area code, right? That's what it's like.
Yes. Jeez, that's great. Zach, you had a question about some of the effects you wanted to hit up Alok with, didn't you?
Not necessarily Alok, just any of you guys involved in just that world. I'm always amazed, I don't have any experience or knowledge in that world. And, having worked on American Horror Story, I'm sure you've seen some very extensive versions of effects. What is that like? The scene with like the hammer, and the nail in the hand, and I mean, basically anything that's ever happened in American Horror Story is always insane with effects. So, I mean, what is that like? What all goes into that? Like for you, like, doing like Pepper, for example.
Well, what goes into it is obviously a lot of time. This takes about 3 hours.
Really?
Although the day that I did a nude scene, which was really it was the freak orgy, which was consisted of not just my face, but like a full like man boobs. That took 6 hours.
Wow.
But more importantly, it takes money. Lots and lots of money. And that's, again, the difference between, Ryan Murphy Productions and Malevolent Films, 1BR. Because Alok, getting back to 1BR, I mean, Alok tells a story of them accidentally placing the bladder of, her hand getting splattered on the wrong side. So, and oops. And of course, like shooting in his actual bathroom. So, like it looks like just psycho, in the shower. His wife comes home like, what happened? And this is just the kind of things that happen in, low budget indie filmmaking.
Yeah, we shot for 15 days and we went back and did 4 days of reshoots because we wanted to redo the ending, which is sadly the reason that Moo was cut out. And Moo and Jerry Ying. Jerry Ying was our cop. You remember, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry's the homie, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we when we went back and did reshoots, we realized that the floor in my office looked exactly like the floor of our set. And so we went into my office and they built like a false wall so she could put her hands on the wall, right? So we redid that entire thing in my office, actually. Jeez. And like you said, like the bladder was on the wrong side. And so when they tried to drive the nail in, it wasn't working. And so they went to the bathroom with it and the thing fucking exploded like all over like the shower and like everywhere. And we didn't have time to clean it up. My wife came in, what the fuck happened here, right? So that was like something I was like, honey, it comes out. You can wash out with warm water. She's like, why didn't you wash it out? Like, I didn't have time. So, what was I going to say? There's one more thing I was going to say about that. So what had happened is that we wanted to use practical effects, but we had, you can tell when we hammer the nail in, there's a little bit of like digital magic, let's call it.
Yes, digital magic.
The splatter.
That's what we had to do to make that work because we didn't get it like when we were shooting it, unfortunately. So it's like, fucking $2,000 extra for that bullshit. My money grubbing producer hands. Money away from them,
Clayton, how did they do your eye, man? 'Cause that looked damn good when you took that glasses off and you had that eye. How did they do that?
Oh man, they had like a prosthetic and they put it over and they just basically painted it over it with makeup. It took probably maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to do that.
Wow.
And it was a fucking pain in the ass.
Oh, fucking with eyes? Yeah.
All I wanted to do was open my eye, and they're like, okay, you can't open your eye because you might rip it, and then we'll have to redo it, and we don't have the time for that. So just keep your eyes shut. And then when they actually took it off, my vision was all fucked up. I was like seeing out of this side, I was like, what is going on here? I feel weird. But thank goodness they only had to do that one day, and they had the glasses with the black over it that basically cheated it the whole time, because that would have sucked to have to do that for the 7 days I was on set.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did you obviously it's called acting, but where did you go for that Lester part? Because that was some creepy shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're an actor, but I'm watching. I'm like, Listen, as Brian said, that nigga was creepy. So yeah, he was creepy. So did you source like you had this weird ass friend? Like, what was that? I'm just asking you as a friend. What the fuck was that? Where'd you get that Lester from?
Honestly, it was all in the writing. David said it beautifully in that scene with Sarah and Miss Stanhope, where she's like, "Oh, did that creepy guy give you this book?" And she said, "Oh, Lester, he's not creepy. He's just sad."
Yeah.
And I was like, to me, that was the crux of the character. This guy who's a survivor, who has been forced into this life, who has obviously fought it twice, tried to escape. He's had his ear gouged, his ear popped out. He's had his eye popped out, and he has finally been broken. Like a good dog. And and he says it in the script too. It was when he got married to his wife Jessie. Jessie helped him deal with that, and now he was giving that to Sarah to help give her that comfort and that solace. And so, I mean, it was just, we all have these different archetypes, and I believe I do like shadow work with my coach and stuff, and that's a shadow of mine, is this sad little boy.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. There you go. That's it.
And I just really leaned into that sad little boy, because that's who Lester was. Because he's not. I mean, he's been there for years. So he had to have been there when he was like 18, 19 years old. Probably fresh out of college, got invited to do this study, and then, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. You're kind of almost, not even almost, damn near like the hero of the joint. Because you actually get her. Yeah, go ahead, Naomi. Go ahead, Naomi. He's the hero.
I mean, again, spoiler alert, but doesn't he pretty much get her out of there?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Gets her out, sacrifices himself, saves the day. Well, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. I have a question. What's the significance of Ellerby? Now, I know that's an author. Is that an author of books that are in reference to?
Well, it's, I mean, I don't want to say, Scientology or L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, I don't need those people coming after me.
I don't want to go outside and my car's on fire.
It kind of feeds into Los Angeles, though, because Los Angeles is like one of those places. David always talks about this for his inspiration and stuff. It's just one of those places that cults just pop up here. There's a lot of like lonely people, a lot of seekers looking for answers and stuff. And we have a rich history of, different cults. And this particular one, I mean, there is some Scientology a little bit mixed in, but there's also more of this other cult called Synanon that it started off as this drug and alcohol rehab sort of thing, and actually was very positive in the way that it, helped people sort of get over things. But then it sort of was like most cults, things were perverted in it, and they kind of told you like, well, you'll never be over it, and you need to live with us. And in addition to that, you need to shave your heads.
Wow.
And this all happened up in San Francisco. And finally it ended with murders or something like that. There's a TV movie that was made about it. And I think there's something new on HBO, like Naomi was telling me about, like called The Vow or something, or what was it called? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something maybe that talks about that too. I think. And then, it's an interesting fun fact, because they were up north, right? And George Lucas was shooting his movie THX 1138. And all the bald people you see in that movie are all the Synanon members. They were all extras, paid extras in that movie, because they'd all shaved their heads and stuff. So there's an interesting Hollywood connection to Synanon there as well. But yeah, I think that, what was I don't even remember the actual question. I think I just
the question was just regards to Ellerby and the significance of Ellerby in the film. So it's more cult based, like something.
These people genuinely feel they're doing right? And as the viewer, we kind of try to lead you down that path to kind of understand them too, because like they have the best intentions. Like they're not trying to like a lot of people were like, I didn't see any titties in this movie, and I'm like, well, these people weren't after trying to rape her or something, or they weren't trying to do that. They were trying to like literally help her and stuff. They have a perverse method for doing so. But they truly believe they're doing something right. David almost had to do a thing like, you ever seen American History X, when what's his face, who's the lead actor of this movie?
Edward
Norton is giving his speech right before they go in that grocery store, and you kind of almost are like, yeah, they are taking our jobs. Well, wait, these are fucking white supremacists. Like, you almost see his point of view and see why it's valid to him. And that's the same thing that David was able to do with this cult and how they kind of treated Sarah and everything, in terms of making the viewer kind of understand why, this can be a good life, as Clayton says.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was one of the there were two really good things, at least as somebody living in LA, that made this movie especially eerie. And one is the whole environment, because if you've lived in LA, you've probably lived in a building that looked exactly like this whole commune. So it just it added just a good eerie effect. And two, I think it was, spoiler alert, one of the good plot twists is when she kills him and comes out and is kind of trying to tell everybody, like, he's gone, we're free, we can get the hell out. And that's when you realize that, like you said, everyone believes it. You know what I mean? They truly believe that they're saving each other, and that's just, that impact, compounds it even more, that she realizes how screwed she really is. And then cue the hero.
And plus, Naomi came out pissed off. When Naomi came out, fucking kill him.
Right? Crazy.
But I was going to say, I mean, it happens. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say it's happening in this country right now, but maybe. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I even remember in school learning about, like, the Holocaust, and, like, the Nazis thought they were, repairing the roads. Like, they really managed to, like, convince the German people that, like, this was going to be it was going to be better this way. And it's like, but it happens in history all the time, in small, communities, to, like, entire, world wars. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. It's wild to see it, and done. I think that's, maybe given the time that we're in right now, what we're seeing happen maybe adds even more of an eerie effect to that whole, kind of hive mindset that isn't necessarily the healthiest and can definitely be taken down the wrong road.
Wait a minute. Is something happening right now?
No, we're not talking about it. We're talking about a movie. We're talking about a movie.
Are we talking about the movie? We're talking about my dog, Trump. That's my dog. my nigga Fauci. I want to kind of tie this up a little bit. I do have, once again, you with the Uncivilized Intellects. We got Alok, we got Naomi, we got Clayton, just geniuses here. Alok, is there a sequel or even a prequel? A prequel, Alok. I would go prequel more than sequel.
Yeah, I would
to show the young, But even before Clayton, and Naomi was there, I'd say before Clayton, maybe a young Naomi, like showing the like they showed when the older, who killed him? When she killed the leader guy. He really wasn't the leader. Showing how it kind of first started. You know what I mean? How did they situate all those rows of apartments? Like a lot of organization, like showing some of that. There could be a prequel, buddy. That's how good the fucking movie is, dude. You could have a prequel or a sequel.
I see Janice as having a very large part in the prequel.
There we go. Yeah, she just throw it out there. I like Naomi. I like what's happening.
And I was waiting for Janice to kill somebody, because I was like, it's all about her. Yeah, I thought you were about to kill somebody. At the beginning, when she turned around in the potty plant, was like, hey, I was like, she about to kill somebody.
You know what's funny? There's a huge, in my friend group, there's a ton of black people that watch this movie unbeknownst to me, even though I've been promoting it. And this one girl named Lulu, she's a comedian. She used to do a lot of all-deaf digital with me. Used to do stuff with Robert Towns. She said, her post was like, girl, there's a scary-ass movie on Netflix. And it's motherfucking 1BR. And her friend was like, bitch, I've already seen that, nigga. I was like, God damn. It's a hard-ass interview. He said, like, quote, like, like fucking Time Magazine says, what a scary movie. And Kiki says, girl, these niggas is crazy. You're getting a great word of mouth from just that. Look at Zach. That number one on Netflix, people just like, oh, you just being on Netflix in fucking general, they're going to watch it. especially during the pandemic, Alok. I mean, Clayton, haven't you noticed that people have just been watching everything? Naomi, I know you've already talked about it. People are just at home. They're just at home. It's weird, Alok. It's almost like the best, worst thing. Couldn't you agree? Like, the people being at home, like, well, fuck, they're going to check this movie.
No, my password, my Netflix password before the pandemic. Now I'm just Netflixing, chilling like all day long.
Yeah, it's
I thought you were gonna say your password was hot pussy. Naomi.
no, Jesus Christ. Okay, Alok. All right, we're gonna. God damn.
She always fits it into every podcast, and she didn't fit it in this one, and I had to.
Dropping a hot pee. Well, you said
a hot pee.
No, you may not have gotten
Hot pocket.
but you said a hot pussy. So
There you are.
Wow, this is
a little hot pocket.
Little hot pocket. Look, though, I mean, I'm kind of prying a little bit, buddy. We doing a prequel or sequel?
Well, you know, it's a thing where I can't tell you shit.
Okay, I like that. So that's our normal relationship. He doesn't tell me shit. So it's like, no.
I'll tell you something offline maybe one day. But
all right, you do agree, Alok, with this kind of heat, especially with horrors, they always come back. They always come back.
No. I think, listen. I think we've talked a little about it, and there's a very interesting way, a very original way. We can not only make a sequel, but really turn it on its ear. Like, really just make it something like, I mean, I don't want to talk out of turn, but like the Terminator 2 or Aliens of sequels, right?
Oh,
where you get to
shit,
see
man.
some real shit go down. And, you know, whether that's called 1BR, The Chronicles of Janice, or, you know, 1BR : something else, or 2BR, could be, you know, whatever. We'll see. But we're trying to keep that, you know, that genie in the bottle, not let anybody see it until we, you know, kind of sneak up on you, J.J. Abrams style. We'll see.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna end this with you guys. It's a pleasure having you guys on.
Definitely.
Obviously, prequel.
Thank you so much.
I think the world is down. Me, Brian, and Zach are going to continue, but I just want to thank you guys for being on. Alok, are there any handles, Clayton, anything, Naomi, any social media handles you guys want to throw out there? Any fan stuff, you know?
I'd just say 1BR_film is our Twitter handle, and I'm monitoring the shit out of that. So if you want to get at us, we'll say hi. We'll write you back.
Alok got actually tagged yesterday. Twitter put a cap on his number of tweets, and even.
Yeah, I didn't know that was possible. But it was true. They did. Like, it was like wow. Here's how stupid I am. Like, I didn't realize, like, because I was always doing hashtag 1BR or hashtag 1BR Netflix, but not just putting in 1BR and Netflix. And I felt like all of this shit. There is like, I mean, thousands of posts that people have made that are like, "Aw, shit, girl, you got to see 1BR." And I like, you know, I need to retweet every one of them, right? And so I started like the day we came out on Netflix, and I only got to the 26th of September when they just cut me off. They're just like, "You've done too much," and I'm like,
"Wow,
wow." So I'm going to try to get through.
Cut off our cult leader, but I digress.
Right.
My Twitter handle and Instagram and Facebook, for that matter, is my name, Naomi W. Grossman. I'm verified, so you'll know it's me. Awesome. I would say the one thing I would add, though, is for people listening, because I always get people saying, you know, like, how do we get you back on American Horror Story? How do we get a 2BR Chronicles of Janice or whatever? And and tagging not just me, but actually, you know, the producers of said film or television show is how to do it. It's amazing. Like, nowadays, it's not just, you know, American Idol, where you can actually like affect change and see your favorite people come back. Like, it's actually everywhere. Like, there are people at studios employed just to monitor that Twitter and see who's trending, who's hot, who's not. So, you know, let's make that sequel happen, that prequel happen.
Let's make it happen. Clayton, what do you got, buddy?
Twitter, at Clayton Cole Hoff, and my Instagram, the Clayton Hoff.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Well,
simple.
Alok, Naomi, and Clayton, thank you guys a lot. 1BR,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, it's on Apple TV. It's on Netflix. It's a fantastic film.
Great film.
Made by great friends, real salt of the earth people. I wish you guys much success. I love all three of you. Be well in these times, and thank you for being on the Uncivilized Intellects. Guys, hang out with us. Me, Zach, and Brian are going to talk about a cheeseburger I ate last night. I'm letting the three of you go. It looks like I want to be on that call. All right, you three. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, take care. Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.
And I'm calling you later to look about the secrets.
Yeah, some secrets. I'll tell you.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Now you got the Uncivilized here, the core, the three of us. Excellent, 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 excellent with those people. What did you think, B?
I mean, I was impressed by Nancy Grossman. I forgot that she was on one of my favorite seasons of American Horror Story. I had to look it up.
Yeah, it was funny because you were like, yeah, that's like the dude right there. I'm like, Brian, that's her. You were like, no, that's a dude.
No, but no. I didn't mean that was a dude, but she played like a dude kind of. Silent, it's a dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a woman behind the mask. I was like, oh, you got that from that one season of American Horror Story. You like,
And we're
that's
both
her.
like, no,
I didn't even
that's
know it
her.
was her at all.
Yeah.
I thought that was just some artwork she got from the event. You said the little horror story event?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Convention, yeah.
I didn't
No,
know that was her.
Just like in Walking Dead, when I go to those things, nerd alert. When I go to the Walking Dead conventions with my pop figures, they're there in a booth. They're signing autographs. They're making a little bit of cheddar.
I mean, you heard what she said. She's made more on the back end doing that than she even did fucking being on the show.
And she was on that show for seasons. I think for a couple of seasons she was on.
Well, she's played
show.
multiple characters. Yeah, she didn't just play Pepper, that character that we saw. She's played a few different characters.
That's the one where she was on the Freak Show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When Angela Bassett was on there with 3 titties, wasn't she? Facts. I remember
I'm glad that we saved this till she was off. I'm glad that we saved this till she was off. I can tell you.
We're having a little just a breakdown and recap. I gotta say, man, Clayton was being cute, but he finally came out and said him and his teacher how he worked that out. Because I was watching that and I was like, wait a minute, I've hung out with this guy before, and this guy in this movie is creepy as hell.
He
killed that part.
Yeah, man,
he
did.
He was quiet as fuck until that fake marriage.
I mean, Lewis, like, to be fair, it was him, but there was a lot, for a very, what we talked about for a low budget film, the cinematography and the editing was done really well. It also played to his creepiness. It helped out a ton. It was.
That's why I asked the look. I said, "Who edited this?"
Yeah,
because basically, the editing can save. Or, either save or just fuck up a movie. Bad editing, you just know why.
Oh, God,
yeah. I mean, isn't there a new edit of the Justice League coming out, B?
I think so.
So I guess Justice League was done. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops. I'm sorry. Josh Whedon did the original film, but
we went to the midnight release. And it was
but he took snippets from what had already been shot by, I think, Snyder, correct? But then Snyder, like his daughter or somebody, committed suicide. So he's like, I don't have time to do this. My kid just committed suicide. I got to go. But then he came back to it, was like, let me finish what I started. And that's going to come out, I think in a couple of weeks. You see what Christopher Nolan's doing with Tenet. These guys are just, like Alok said.
See that. I want to see that.
Like Alok said, they just hold out. They hold out to get to the movie theater, but at a certain point, they just got to come out. Annabelle's coming out. They're going to come out and stream.
I want to give Alok another shout out because that's an example of no risk, no reward.
Yeah.
I mean, everything what he was willing to sacrifice to actually get this movie done, not knowing whether or not it would be a success, just risking it all. Yeah, asking people to be in the film, someone as successful as Nancy Grossman and not paying her. I mean, to have people in your pocket like that too. So that's pretty awesome.
He mortgaged his house.
That's what I'm saying. Most people wouldn't do that. If that was what it came to start your own business, would you mortgage your house? That's a huge risk.
And plus,
most people wouldn't do it.
That's not even like started. If me and you started, Brian and Zach, if we started a hot wings restaurant, I would feel comfortable mortgaging my like a house or something, because hell, I know them hot wings are gonna be fine. People want hot wings. With the movie, I don't know if they want to see this movie or not.
No,
I mean,
like
that
you said, there are so
been
many
out
factors.
for a long time. That movie been out for a long time. Hell, I read that movie at Oldfields.
Yep.
Like what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was a
long time ago.
It was talking about. Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, but I mean that also shows you how much work, because I mean we all remember hearing Alok talk about, you know, I'm going to be gone for the next 15 days. I'm going to fucking this festival, and then Germany, and then Amsterdam, and then you know all over. And, yeah, I mean he was always, you know, you know he's having a good time, but they put the miles. Well, they put the legwork in, man. They went to all of those. They did a good job promoting and hustling, man.
And there's a lot of actors they definitely deserve it. I mean, deserve it.
Yeah.
Deserve it. I'm not going to go too deep into I mean, the guy, Alok, needed extra so bad. He's in damn near every scene and you don't even notice him. Yeah, you do know. It's a drink. It's a drinking game. You know, it's like, shit, I need to fill out the space in this, or like, yada, 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 make this room look a little bit fuller. So, and just anybody listening that's an actor, an artist, or like want to make a film or even do shorts or whatever, it's time. Sometimes it just takes time, and you got to be willing to give that time and wait and patience.
Patience. Yeah.
He's just getting on the Netflix now. That movie's been out probably for like 6-8 months, and it just takes time, you know.
Like that, yeah.
And yeah, it's been out for a while, I feel like, and you know, good for him, man. Good for him. I just want to do a little recap with you guys about that, and yeah, that's it.
Great interview. Good time.
Great interview. Yeah, yeah. Well, gentlemen, I'm sign off. Next week we'll be back, guys. No guests next week. Just a bunch of niggerish ass talking. There's so much regular shit I gotta get to.
We'll have football to talk about.
Oh, and it should be Clippers versus Lakers at that point.
Oh yeah. That's where me and Muba come in.
Shut up.
That's where we become
enemies. All right.
Arch enemies.
Arch enemies.
Next week.
Yes. So I'm gonna.
The Clippers gonna win.
I definitely see them clip dogs. I mean, you know, if LeBron's looking very good, just a taste of next week. LeBron's looking very good for a motherfucker that's 39 years old.
Yeah, I got to pause. Yeah. I know both of you. Shut the fuck up. I'm leaving.
This is also Zach who said, "Why is Patrick Beverly playing?" Which is like insanity.
Why? You saw his stats.
Zach was like, "Where's the Cleveland Cavaliers?"
Yeah, I know.
He averages 5 points a game. I'm ending on that.
Yeah.
So he's not there for points.
Out. He's not. You should just stop. You should just kick us out.
He's not on a basketball team for points. That's Pat Bev. Put that on his tombstone. I wasn't here to score points because he's fucking useless. Bye,
ladies and gentlemen, this is Uncivilized. We're signing off. Okay, listen. I'm not listening to anybody that wears leather socks.
Zach's a jerk today. Okay.
He's a jerk today. Goodbye, everybody. Watch 1BR on Netflix. Peace.
Yes.
I'm Moo.
Brian.
Zach.
We out. Peace.
Peace.